Hey guys, today I'll be teaching you how to make a tree. So basically you're going to want to go to wood grain as one of your materials, and you're going to want to go to mocha color. You're going to want to go to settings, and you're going to want to make sure you have self-scaling is on. Make sure you have grabbable objects is off. Make sure these are off. Make sure your align is off and snap to center is off. And make sure you go to the next page. Make sure I recommend a 5. I recommend a 4 tube size, but you can always do an 8 or anything. But I recommend not, But for trees, I recommend a 4. Make sure you have that off, and make sure your tube faucets is 10, and make sure you have a radio of 100. Everything else needs to be off. Okay, so you're gonna want to self-scale yourself now. And you're going to want to basically, when you do your tree, you're going to want to start from the bottom and curve up. And basically, as you go up, you have to basically control your grip like this. So, like that. So you start out big and you go up until the really skinny. Same with this one. You're going to want to go up. Skinny, 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 skinny. And then keep doing that. But use your arm, don't use your wrist. If you use your wrist, your tree is going to be really shaky and it's going to be hard to do it. It don't matter how long your branches are, of course. It's a tree, so it don't matter if your branches are super long, because trees in real life are never perfect. So don't expect it to be come out as a Hollywood dream, a movie star kind of tree. Don't expect that. Your tree does not have to look perfect. Just make sure it's skinny at the top. Make sure you start really big and go up skinny to the top. Like this. And to make it look like a really nice tree, I recommend adding a little bit of branches to it, a little bit of just adding some roots and making them all stick together like a tree would. To make sure there's no gaps. Like this. And this don't look great. I did way better than this, but it's gonna work for now. Make sure your roots just come out a little bit, and you can make your roots big and then tiny, like that. This is probably gonna be a really bad tree, but this is just for reference. Yeah, that's my little branch. Okay. Now for your overall shapes, I recommend going to tube again, and then make sure your thing is sand. So make sure you find a material that's called sand. Colors, I recommend going to emerald green. It's a really good color for a tree. And then, okay, what you don't want for your tree, or your leaves, you don't want to make it too tubey. You don't want this. That looks like poop. Okay, you're gonna want kind of like this. See, that is not too tubey, and it has a little bit of texture to it, like that. Okay. And when you cover your tree up, make sure it's equal and make sure it's not, make it spiky looking. That's my best advice to you. Make it very spiky looking, because the more texture it looks, the more detail it'll look. And make sure you're covering every single branch with the ink. You see how I'm not fully making a tube looking tree? I'm kind of doing a little bit of texture to it. That's what you kind of want to do, so it's looking like an actual detailed tree. Like that. Because the more like texture or spiky you make it, the more detailed it'll look and the more better it'll look. So I recommend that. Let me make this decoration real quick so it's not taking up all my ink. There we go. Okay. Back to what I was saying. You're going to want to make your tree spiky. Of course, you don't have to make it fully even, but if you want your tree to look like really detailed, this is how you do it. You make it look really spiky and texture like this. And just make sure no like branches showing, because that's like the worst way to not make it look textured. Okay. Now, that is basically my tutorial on how to make a tree. And yeah, so you see how it looks kind of realistic looking? Here, let me scale it. Hold on, let me select the whole tree because I just messed up. See, that's basically my tree.